made me very uncomfortable that whole night. And it actually really upset me and it made me angry. I think they were making jokes, but obviously the thing about jokes and banter is they have to be reciprocated, or else it's just bullying, innit? You're just being a prick. If any creator projects onto themselves what I've said earlier on and wants to talk to me about it, message me. We can have a phone call. We can even do it on camera. Right, everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Tea with Tom, and today we're going to be talking about how it was to go through this whole process I've been through in 2019, basically. Now, the premise of this is kind of like a one-man podcast. It's very sat down, very relaxed. Go make a cup of tea. You don't need to be watching it. Nothing is visually stimulating. It's more about just listening to it. It's very chill. Make a cup of tea. I've got one here. As usual, far too hot to drink, but you kind of need to have a sip. It's in the name. So I'm going to try my hardest not to edit this and leave it as unedited as I can. I do have a stutter, so when it gets too bad, I'll cut bits out. But yeah, for the most part, I'm going to leave it pretty unedited. So I asked on Twitter what you guys wanted me to talk about for a Tea with Tom, and you said about mental health. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about my own mental health through this whole sort of mess. Like, good mess, very good mess this year has been. So obviously it started in January. I got in the KSI video and then it went crazy. I blew up. I was on a happy hour. Like, loads of things all happened at once and it was awesome, but it was such a high. I wasn't ready for the low, and I knew because of the way the audience sort of came over, it was very like hyped, so I knew it wouldn't sort of last very long. Unless I like up to clickbait or whatever. Unless I knew what to do. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't, right? I said in the video that blew up and got me a lot of subscribers, I said, if you enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe. If you don't, but cheers for watching. And I've sort of always kept that sort of message. But there was a lot of things that came that I kind of was expecting / wasn't / I was in denial about a few things. And I kind of want to talk about that. So obviously, initially when it happened, it was amazing. It was a really high. It didn't feel real. And I knew, like, this isn't like a permanent thing. Like, everybody's going to love me and be really nice to me for like maybe like a month or two. And then the interest is going to start to die off, because it happens with everybody that has shout-outs ever. It just happens. It happened to Jacksepticeye when he had a shout-out from PewDiePie. I knew it was going to happen. If you grow through a shout-out, they're not there for you. They kind of are, but they've come through another avenue, so they expect, like, maybe the type of content like the Sidemen and JJ and stuff do, and that's not what I do. I make silly songs or real songs or whatever I'm sort of in the mood for. This Tea with Tom is so I can talk more seriously. It's less constructed. Like, I don't have a script. I don't have bullet points. It's just, if I could meet people and talk to you, this is, if we were having a cup of tea, if you had a cup of tea with Tom, then yeah, that's basically the sort of premise of it. I am going to cut every time I take a sip of my tea, so you don't have to hear that nonsense. It all blew up. It all went crazy. 120,000 subscribers in a day. Got myself one of these, which was amazing. I did notice pretty quickly that there was a lot of people that were super fake, that started talking to me and stuff. Luckily, I had like a good sort of group around me to take care of me, and initially, like when it was all going mad, the amount of people that tried to take advantage of me was unreal. Like, I'm glad it happened to me when I was older, when I was 26, because I understood and still understand that it doesn't really mean anything. Sort of like internet fame, they could delete YouTube tomorrow and then whatever. Like, it in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make me more important than anybody. But I imagine if that happened when I was 16 and I had like hundreds and thousands of people telling me I'm sick at everything I do, even the stuff that I'm not happy with myself, it probably would have went to my head. But I was lucky. I was mentally mature enough to sort of handle all of this attention and not let it get to my head. And I had a good group of friends around me. Met some amazing people like Dan Bull. Been a massive fan of him for a very long time. Ended up staying at his house. We started working on Name Drop, which is still in the pipeline somewhere, but life happens in it. Life's busy, everybody's busy. So I had those people that I got offered a couple of record deals that were a bit sus. I didn't know what I was looking at. Looked good to me. I showed it to Dan and Lucy Spraggan from X Factor. I get called a male Lucy Spraggan all the time. She is lovely. She spoke to me on the phone. She helped me a lot with that sort of thing. So I was lucky enough to get a lot of help. But I was still this sort of feeling of, I was very overwhelmed, and there was this sort of like sense of dread at the back of my head. Like, I know this isn't going to last very long. And then the analogy I came up with at the time, and the way I felt like in life in general, was I felt like a piece of, I felt like a mouse or a rat, like scurrying around a maze I don't understand. Like, this is how I still kind of feel about YouTube now. I feel like a mouse or a rat going around a maze I don't really understand, looking for cheese that I don't even know is going to be there. And then when I do find the cheese, it's like, yeah, I knew this cheese was going to be here. It's no big deal. And then I can't even enjoy that piece of cheese because I'm already thinking, shit, where's the next piece going to come from? Like, I don't know how this happened, and everybody's looking at me like, oh, you're amazing. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So yeah, it was pretty overwhelming. So obviously, very high, which was great. The first video that sort of flopped or like didn't do as well as I wanted it to, I thought was a really good video, and it was me and another one of the friends I've met through this mad experience, my friend Jamie. We wrote a song in like less than an hour in a house party or something, and I enjoyed the video, but it flopped and I didn't understand why. And then I deleted it and re-uploaded it, and it did shit still. So I was like, this is weird, and that was not a good feeling, like sort of feeling it sort of slipping away, because obviously everybody cared. And then now, like, my social blade's been red for a while, every now and again it's sort of green, but basically overall no one really gives a fuck anymore. There's a group of people and a bunch of people I've met through all of this who, like, loyal is the wrong word, but like, they're there for me. Like, they allow me, they'd be there for anything I want to be creative about, and that's what I enjoy. And there's a lot of people that they either want basically KSI or like anybody from that sort of side of YouTube, they want them in the title, or me talking about them or about them, or some sort of beef or some bullshit. And obviously, like, I'm still a dad of two. It's going through an awful lot of personal stuff still. So all of this, obviously, extreme highs, massive fatigue, because obviously I was trying to make hay while the sun shines, like trying to get merch out and stuff. And then I got shit for that, which was, like, most people understood, like, well, yeah, you're skint, you've got kids to feed and bills to catch up on, we want to support you, make merch, we'll buy it. Most people understood that, but then I had people say, oh, you're a sellout, like, why are you trying to cash in already? Because I've got kids to feed, obviously. Rational people understood that. Like, there's no way I'm pleasing everybody, but, like, people gave me shit like, oh, you should be doing it for free. In the real world, you can't do that. Like, anytime anybody gives a YouTuber shit about, like, whether they're charging for something or they won't upload if it's not monetized, we've got bills to pay. Like, it is fun and we do enjoy it, but that doesn't, like, money coming in from this means I can continue to do this. And I don't have to go back to working in a sausage factory where it just destroys my soul. With every cell sig, Welsh word for sausage, you're welcome. So yeah, I had the massive high, and that put a lot of pressure on myself at once, and I burnt out. And I remember when I burnt out, I was in London, and I can't remember why we were down there, but we were down there for whatever reason, and I didn't go to sleep until about like 6 or 7 in the morning. We were staying at an Airbnb. I didn't go to sleep till about 6 or 7, because I didn't know we had to be out by 11, so I had like 2 hours sleep. I was up editing and stuff, and then I woke up and I had an energy drink. I was with my friend Abby and Callum. I had an energy drink and we got out, still tired. I had a coffee. We had like a day spare in sort of London. No one was in a rush to go back, so it was like Natural History Museum I've always wanted to go. And then when we got in there, I started having like a panic attack, and like I was shaking. I couldn't breathe. Like, I couldn't think rationally. Like, I understand when I'm thinking emotionally, and I try to rein myself in, but I couldn't. Like, I just basically like lost control, and heart was pounding. I didn't know what to do, and I just had this like overwhelming sense of doom. And I've always wanted to go to that museum as well, which was grim because it ruined it. But luckily I had 2 very good friends there with me that sort of helped me through the whole thing. And then when I got home, I just couldn't really be asked it anymore, because I felt like as I was uploading, the views were like dropping more and more, and I didn't know what the variant was, even though like sort of inside I knew that this was always going to happen. Like, it's always going to dip down, like, whether it's as drastic as this. I knew there was some sort of downward slope, but I was trying to figure out, like, there was no correlation. Like, say if I uploaded like a singing, more music-y, freestyle sort of a video, it would do just the same as if I did a talking video, and there was nothing people were particularly engaging with. Unfortunate. My memory card ran out of room, and then I knocked this off the side. But yeah, so I knew there was going to be a dip. Couldn't find the variable, and I started sort of taking it personally. And then, like, it does something to you when you have such a high. I have all of these people telling me I'm great and getting rid of my insecurities, like saying, no, we enjoy what you do. Like, you don't need to be as critical on yourself as you are being. Like, we enjoy it. So it's like, well, nice. And that sort of made me feel good. And it was like a real good high. And then the other extreme of that is, as it dies down and people care less and less, or they forget or whatever, the nice vocal people seem to just carry on about the day. But for lack of a better word, the bellends come out in force. And I've had people message me and tell me to kill myself. I've had people say, I'm so happy your channel's dead. Always, like, I can't even really live stream anymore. I used to really, really enjoy live streaming. But then when I go live, I just have like a bunch of people just constantly, your channel's dead. It's like, do you not think I can see my channel is not doing well? Do you not think I've considered that? I don't know what to do about it. It makes me feel grim. And then I sort of feel in a position where, like, I've got this channel, I've got this audience, I've got people asking me to make videos, but, like, I don't know if anybody cares anymore. So when, like, I've made a bunch of videos that I go to upload, I'm like, I'm just going to get shit for whatever reason. And then, like, I sort of feel felt like sort of hostage is a strong word, but, like, not really free on my channel. Like, my audience doesn't really feel like my audience. There's, like, the select few, which, well, I say select few, it's still a group I'm very happy with. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I'm in a much better position now than I was in January. I've met some amazing people through YouTube. People I've watched for years, like Daz Black and Dan Bull, are now my friends, close friends. It's crazy. The equipment, it bumped me out of that debt I was in at the time. I've met people I never thought I would. I'm still in a much better position than I was, 100%. And I'm obviously I'm super glad all of this happened and the shout out happened and stuff. But sort of being a sort of feeling where, like, I don't feel very connected to my audience. And I don't feel like I could just do a video like this. That's why there hasn't been a video in so long. Is I don't really feel as much that I can just sort of hit record and talk to my audience like I used to be able to before all of this. Because then I was doing live streams to like 20, 30 people for hours, and it was so much fun. Everybody was so nice. The community was great. Every time I uploaded, if the video got like 1,000 views and 100 likes, I was sort of satisfied. That was my sort of goal. Didn't care about dislikes because my audience beforehand were like super vocal, and like it felt like a group of friends, and that was great. That was really nice. That was helping me loads. But now it feels like more of going into like a hostile group of strangers, where like if I say something, someone's gonna try and tangle it into whatever, and that's a whole nother thing. It's like on Twitter, obviously, like my YouTube blew up. Twitter, like I gained like 10,000 followers or something, and Instagram gained, like I was barely even on that. That gained like basically all the followers. I had like 200, and then I had like 18k or something. But that happened really quick. But then I tweet something, which is, say, my opinion. I play the devil's advocate a lot because I feel it's important. Like, the only way we're going to get anywhere is all arguments are addressed. There is no point in just blocking one out saying that's not there. Whoops. There's no point in blocking one out and saying that's not there when the questions need to be raised. So I've done that in particular. Cancel me again. But I said about the straight pride thing, I was like, just let him have it. I don't agree they need it, but that's not the point. Like, we also, we don't need circuses, but they happen. We don't need any other sort of parade or celebration. We don't need Christmas, but they happen. If people want to celebrate that, then everyone is entitled to celebrate what they believe in. And it like I'm talking about, like, say if you grew up in a religious family where you were taught that like homosexuality is wrong or whatever, and that is sort of sat in your head, but you don't harass anybody, you don't give anybody shit, you don't tell anyone how to live their life, and you just want to go and be like, woo, like they should have that right. Like I understand all of the arguments against it, right, and they're valid, but that doesn't mean that we should be taking away somebody else's rights. That was my whole point. Don't care about what they think. I don't really care what anyone thinks. I care how people think. That's what really matters. But then what I wasn't expecting is, again, before I would tweet something like that, and my audience understands what I'm saying. Now I tweet something and I have like an army of like, it's always the same as well. It tends to be girls between age like 14 and 19 that are like, slay sis, Tom's cancelled, you're homophobic, you're this, you're transphobic, right? I'm bisexual and I'm politically centric, right? So I'm not right and I'm not left. I used to be left, but I've moved more to the centre because of how irrational and ridiculous it was. And I realised I was doing a lot of things where, like I said, I was just sort of disregarding an argument completely because I didn't agree with it, and I was looking at everything in black and white with no nuances, which was dumb. So I've moved more central. But the problem is I have people on the right calling me a faggot and calling me a homo and a puff and a gay and that like I'm an abomination and all of this horrific shit. And then these crazy people on the far left, like these virtue signaling people, are calling me homophobic and stuff. So I'm sort of getting shit from both sides for speaking an opinion. I always, like, I don't frame anything as a fact. I say like, well, maybe, or it's like a question or something. Like I'm asking something and I get abuse, and that's something that I wasn't expecting either. And then I've got people telling me like, oh, you're a public figure, you've got a big audience, and you've got some influence, and you can't be speaking on things uneducated. The only way anybody gets educated on anything is by speaking about it, right? It's by learning, right? So if there was an actual point to prove, then I would say something. It could, like, there's not an actual example, this is all hypothetical, but like I could potentially say something somebody might consider is transphobic without knowing, which is ignorant. And being ignorant, it literally means you have a lack of information. That doesn't mean you're a bad person because you don't know everything. Nobody does. So then I have to deal with sort of abuse for some dumb fuck reason. I tend to engage with it because I forget, like, because I'm a rational human and I'm used to talking to people like this, like actual people with words, and then I can explain anything that they're misunderstanding. And obviously because it's real life, nobody really behaves that way unless you're talking about the extreme fringe. Nobody is really like, fuck you, you're a dickhead because you said this, or you think this, or you're cancelled, or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. The amount of times I get called homophobic for a bi person is ridiculous. And it annoys me. It really does irritate me because, like, getting shit from both sides, getting called a homophobe and a faggot in the same day is so frustrating. So frustrating. But I understand I can't let that thing sort of get to me. So yeah, trying to deal with this new thing where everybody is allowed to give me shit, right? People can publicly tweet me or message me on Instagram or do whatever. They can tweet me, they can insult me, they can tell me to kill myself, they can randomly tell me that my daughter's ugly, they can give me all manner of shit, but I'm not allowed to respond or think because I also have a following, and if I think, other people might think the way that I do, right? And another thing that sort of let me down and frustrated me a bit is there's a lot of, well, obviously not going to name drop anyone until name drop comes out. It's not relevant, I'm sorry. It's sort of like disappointed me. There's been a couple of times I've been given a whole bunch of shit, and like everybody sort of mobbed me and given me shit. And there's other creators who have they hold the same opinions as me, but they join in the sort of the kicking me when I'm down for likes, because it wins you internet points. Like, if you have this very specific mindset and don't want to question it and say ridiculous things that it's impossible to disagree with but not relevant at all, like, say, I don't know, we're talking about pollution, right? And you're like, well, yeah, pollution's awful. I'm like, yeah, well, rape is bad. And then everyone's like, yeah, slay, Tom, slay, you get it. Like, it's frustrating and very hard to deal with. Especially when, like, there was one time I got called homophobic. I think it was over, like, the James Charles thing. Because I said, like, that sort of behaviour of gay lads going after straight lads is common. In my experience, my entire life, everybody that, like, well, not everybody, obviously, but the vast majority, just like lads say that they go for a gay girl because it's like a challenge. Like, it's that same sort of mentality. It's fucked up, but it's not uncommon. And I said that, and then I was getting told I was generalizing it, and that I was homophobic because I was generalizing everybody for this one thing, which, of course, isn't what I was doing. I was saying, in my experience, this is what I have experienced. It's not the biggest deal. And then a bunch of people gave me shit. And there was one in particular, it really frustrated me. Because I've met this person before. And it was not long after I don't know how long after I came out bi. But, like, I came out bi publicly, and, like, it was sort of known. And they were asking me a few questions about it and stuff, which was fine. And then, like, we had, like, a night out. And they spent the whole night making jokes about me being bi. Like, anything that was dick shaped, I bet you want some of that, don't you? Like, just, oh, how can you be bi? Are you a top and bottom? Just open questions, right? Like, and then I was answering them, and they weren't satisfied with my answers, and it made me very uncomfortable that whole night, and it actually really upset me, and it made me angry. And then I called another one of my friends, and I spoke about it and said, like, I'm sure they're a good person. I'm just trying to, like, avoid, like, outing this person. So if I miss anything, I'm going to mute the pronouns and whatever. So it's just super this ambiguous person. Because, like, it's... They were drunk. Like, that's, like... I'm not saying that justifies it. But it did upset me. And I spoke to another one of my friends about it at the time. And they were like, oh, maybe he's just one of those people that gets a bit dark when they've had a drink. But all night that annoyed me. And then while all of this was happening, they jumped in and said something about me being homophobic, which it really hurt. I didn't say anything, but I was like, this is ridiculous. What is happening? This mob mentality thing, like, I'm getting attacked. Like, bearing in mind, all of this is very, very new to me. I have been doing YouTube for a couple of years. I've been on social media and stuff, but no one's ever really listened or gave a fuck to what I said, apart from my own little sort of, like, family of an audience, like, almost, like. So I was used to that. And then all of a sudden, I've got all of these people giving me shit. That doesn't make sense. They're agreeing with me in DMs, but they're publicly giving me shit. And these people that, obviously, like I said, spent a whole night taking a piss. I think they were making jokes. But obviously, the thing about jokes and banter is they have to be reciprocated, or else it's just bullying, innit? You're just being a prick. Like, I said with words a few times, like, this is annoying me now, shut up, blah, blah, blah. I made it clear that I was uncomfortable, but it carried on. So I wasn't used to this at all. Like, this is alien to me. Alien. There's no time in real life I could apply anything to this sort of situation. I'm saying an opinion, and everybody's just labeling me this shit, telling me I'm cancelled, my following starts to drop, subs start to drop. People are giving me proper shit. And then I even messaged some other people that I'd been speaking to that had been nice, some other creators, and said, like, look, like, what's going on here? Like, I'm speaking my opinion. Like, how on earth are people getting from this to this? And they just aired me, straight up aired me, until I got a bit of a spike again, and then they started speaking to me again. And it's just, everybody's out for themselves. So I don't really like, I like individuals, and a lot of people have been very nice to me, but I've been there with a lot of people who are very loved by stans and big groups of people, and they've got a lot of sort of sway with people, and they are just so two-faced. It's crazy. Like, while literally just before someone comes in, they're talking shit about them, and then they come in, like, oh, it's all lovely, and I'm meant to, like, I'm supposed to believe now that, like, that they do that about everybody but me. Yeah, they sit and they bitch about everybody else, but yeah, not about me. I'm lovely. So as soon as I go, they've been giving me shit as well. So dealing with all of this social fucking bullshit, I was like, what is going on? Why aren't I making videos? Like, what, like I met a bunch of great people, but all of this side of it let me down. Like, like, I've met some great YouTubers, but the vast majority of people I thought would be great really aren't that great. They've been nice to me, and I don't have a problem with them on a personal level. But I trust them as far as I could throw them. And that was like another sort of knock, and that affected the sort of my sort of mental health. So it's like I felt like an outcast from this sort of community, and then I felt like maybe they were only being nice to me in the beginning because I had the sort of attention and stuff. Which obviously that's not good for you. That's not good for you. Right, okay. Well, all of these people I've been reaching out to for years, they've been ignoring me. I get some attention, they get back in touch. It's all nice. We're friends, and then it starts to die down, and they're all gone. Which that was upsetting. So like, there's loads of people that I've called just to check up on. Heard nothing of anybody. Like literally, there's like 2 or 3 people, who have actually reached out and like understood this might be a bit crazy. Some of which I've never met. I've never even spoke to. I've watched their videos a couple of times, and they've added me to message me and like say, JJ, he sent me advice on how to deal with all of this sort of nonsense and not to chase numbers and not to beat yourself up about that sort of stuff. So like, obviously that was dragging me down. So I've had this massive high, this huge reality check, and then it just slowly goes down and just getting abuse constantly. And then I have people messaging me asking me for money and stuff, which I don't have. Like, look at my social blade, look at my views. Like, my Patreon is the only reason that I've paid my bills a bunch of times. Or like people in the God tier of my Patreon that I've met up with, and we've spoken, we've had a couple of drinks together and stuff. They've helped me massively. Financially, emotionally, everything. Like they've been there when I need a rant. Like, that is the best thing to come out of all of this, is like a bunch of people, a real bunch of people that are just sort of there for me, and all these people I wouldn't have met without YouTube. So that is obviously, that's fantastic. But then the sort of second hand of it is now almost every time I interact with a YouTuber, I don't know if it's genuine. I don't know if they're being nice to my face and they're going to snake, and that's not how I should be thinking as an adult. I should just be thinking everybody's here rationally. Yeah, everybody's doing their thing, but it's not how it works. Everybody wants to give each other shit, and everybody wants to preach this thing about like, reach out to your friends. I'm sorry, but they're fucking saying that for likes. Like, nobody reached out, even when I was. There's been I shouldn't have done it, but there was a couple times I did straight out put like attention fishing tweets. Not saying I'm going to kill myself, but stuff that was obviously would make it clear I'm not happy. Nobody reached out to me. That was pretty fucking heartbreaking. And then it started getting worse, and then like the views were dropping, the abuse I was getting, bills stacking up again, not feeling like I can trust anybody. Even my friends got weird with me, like it's because they seem to think I'm loaded, and then ask me for something, I'm like, I don't have it, mate. I've got little one's dance class to pay for or whatever. And then they assume that I'm lying, and then they just don't talk to me again, which that feels great. That feels well nice, actually. Even family, they've asked me for help with my platform and stuff. I've said no, haven't spoke to me since. Like, it's fucking grim, man. It's proper grim. And the only thing that sort of started to almost pull me back out of it, and it's recent. I'm talking recent. And to be honest with you, it might just be another up, and I'll shoot back down again. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I can't elaborate on that much further. But yeah, I just think it's grim. Like, in now recently, what I'm doing is I literally don't look at my social blade anymore. I don't look at my views. If I get a notification through for a comment, I'll read it. Or if like, say if it's like the first day. So say when I upload this, I'll be reading the comments for like the first day to see the immediate response and how people feel about it and stuff. And then I don't look at it anymore. I can't. I don't look at my follow accounts past a glance. Like, I don't think, oh, it needs to get up again. I don't care. Like, I do care, maybe. That's the problem. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe it's a problem that I do care, and I tie so much worth to these things that aren't real, and I understand they're not real. But it can affect my mood so much. So, doing that less, I don't really engage with the nonsense on Twitter anymore. Like, I do every now and again. It's it's a bit fun, and obviously there's sometimes I get frustrated, where it's like, how can people like this exist? Like, how has me saying, well, maybe there's an alternative to this, how does that make me this long list of phobics and ists and all manner of fucking nonsense? But like, I tend to try not to engage on it. I'm not on it too much. I'm looking into becoming a teacher, a primary school teacher. I like working with kids. Ins- Inspiring a kid is an awesome feeling, So I've been looking at like access courses to get into uni because my grades weren't fantastic, and then I'll need to do some other shit. And but I'm looking to get that ball rolling pretty soon. And with my YouTube, like the last song I did, the Wish.com song, that was just a funny idea I had, so I made it. It was fun. When I was recording it, I was laughing, and I haven't done that since making like sort of comment songs, or like the diss track that I did with Callum's Corner on Stephen Tries. We were laughing when we were recording that. But I used to do that a lot when I was making the comment songs and stuff. Is they'd be so weird that they would make me laugh while I was doing it, and it was really enjoyable, and that was addictive. And then it got to the point where it was sort of like a chore, and I was scared to upload. I was like, oh, what if it flops? What if I think it's really good and I put loads of time into it and it just flops and nobody gives a fuck? And then somebody points out that it flops in the comments. Your channel's dead. This is shit. Oh, how did it die so fast? You had potential. JJ made you. He handed you a career and you fucked it and blah, blah, blah. And people giving me all of this sort of shit. Like, I shouldn't be anxious. If I have a video idea, something I want to make on my channel, I should surely just be doing that and just be happy with it, and the people that like it would respond, and there's always going to be people giving me shit. Like, I'm not expecting that to ever stop, but yeah, sort of being in that, yeah, like anxious to upload on my own channel of how people will react and whether people will give me shit or whatever else. So now, videos like this where I'm just sat talking, I'm going to have to chop it up a bit, obviously, because there's a bit of ramble, there's a bit of stuttering and stuff. But, like, this, any topics you want me to talk about, hit me up. Leave it in the comments. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. But, yeah, I just thought, like, and in a nutshell, massive highs equal massive lows. All of that energy and happiness and stuff that you're putting into this one moment becomes a deficit and a come down somewhere else. Putting all of this value into like, oh, it's got 100,000 views in an hour, this is all I've ever wanted, this is great, this is doing really well, to it's been 5 hours now, it's got 2,000 views, I have 340,000 subscribers. My channel's dead, the engagement is not very good. And then I have advice from a bunch of other different YouTubers that are quite contradicting. I've got ones telling me just do what you want to do, enjoy yourself, be passionate about it. If people watch, great. If they don't, whatever. Which is essentially what JJ said to me. He said, like, remember why you started doing YouTube? It wasn't to chase numbers. It was for something you enjoyed doing. I said, that's right. That is 100% right. Like, I need to stop sort of chasing this. I don't even know. It's not even success. I don't know what it is because there's so many variables, title, thumbnail, and stuff. So I'm getting all of this sort of different advice. I have some people, all of these YouTubers are nice people. Like they're big. They've got really like at least 1 million plus or very close. So I've got advice. Some people that are telling me like you have to keep doing music stuff because it's what you're good at. You just do music. Keep your opinions to yourself. Blah blah blah. Just do music. And then I've got people that are telling me like, don't just do music because it's boring. You need to branch out into some other things. You need to talk about other things and other things you're passionate about. And then I have this like contradictory advice from all of these people, and I'm sat in a position where I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do anymore. I don't know whether I think should I just stop uploading completely, but then why would I do that? Because I enjoy it. And then I think should I just make a new channel? But then again, what's the point? Why would I do that? So what I'm going to do is the videos that I want to make, I'm going to make. The things I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about. Some things might be political. I'll put a little disclaimer at the start of, like, say if I'm going to talk about something that's a sensitive topic. I will tell you at the beginning I'll be talking about political things or some things that some people might not be able to hear or ready to hear yet. I'm not saying I'm this wealth of knowledge, but like an exploration of thought is what it will be. Because that's what I talk about with my friends. Like that's what I'm interested in. Like thought experiment and people behavior and psychology and sociology and all manner of nonsense. I want to be me. Right? I don't want to be a brand. I don't want to be like, oh, Tom Stockdale, the musician guy, blah, blah. I want you to know me as my friends know me. Know how I think, know how I feel. I don't want to just stand here or sit here and pretend to be something I'm not. Like, pretend that I agree with all of this bullshit because it's popular opinion and it's dangerous to go against it. It's like, to be honest, almost everybody else does. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to start jumping at every fight. I'm still going to keep myself to myself for the most part. But if there's something, like, I need to remember the individual more. Because big numbers, like, my last... basically, if a video gets, like, less than 10,000 views, it gets to me. Which is dumb. Because, like I said earlier, it used to be 1,000 views and 1,000 likes. Now it's 10,000 views. No, it used to be 1,000 views and 100 likes. Now it's 10,000 views and 1,000 likes. Which is dumb. I need to remember the individual more. So, like, if there's anything you want me to talk about in particular, leave a comment. I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm going to be getting guests on too. But yeah, that was my experience with sort of mental health. Massive highs, massive lows. Having a lot of people message you at once, all giving you love or all giving you shit or the contrasting thing. And the shit stays more, for sure. Like, say... a bad experience is just do. If you're at a restaurant and it's amazing, maybe you'll leave a tip. If it's real good, you might get up and go speak to the manager and say, like, your staff have done bits here. That was an amazing meal, amazing service, really nice, made us feel welcome. They've done a good job. Buy him a pint. Right, there's a pint. Buy him one. But if you have a bad time, if your waiter, like, slams your food down a bit or gives you a bit of shit, you remember that. And it's pretty much the same. All of these people that just give me shit, like, it's never happened in real life. Everyone I've met in real life is lovely. Getting recognised and stuff is great. But just the sort of idea that people have that I should just sit here and take abuse and listen to nonsense around me and just keep quiet because popular opinion is not going in the way that I not even necessarily think, but I just feel it's important to, like, hence being a political centrist. I think it's important that we have a look at all the possible arguments, weigh up their pros and cons, take bits from each one, and find the best possible outcome that's a compromise for everybody. Like that. What's wrong with that? It's crazy. The time is now 2:45, and I need to go pick my kids up. But I've enjoyed this. It's like a little therapy a session or something. If you enjoyed it, whatever, like it if you want. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it. If you didn't, drop a dislike on it. Let me know if you think I'm just chatting shit and that I'm just deep in everything, or if you agree with me on some things or you disagree. Let me know. I'm open to conversation completely. And if any creator projects onto themselves what I've said earlier on and wants to talk to me about it, message me. We can have a phone call. We can even do it on camera. I'm not doing this bullshit anymore. This is my channel. I want my little family of an audience back. If you don't like it, then don't watch it, to be honest. Like, YouTube's massive. There's plenty of people on the internet. There's loads of very talented people. For example, DK Rap Artist, Tom GW, who's another small creator I've been watching recently. Of course, Jack Hodgson. He's got eyes like a White Walker, but he's a good guy. There's loads more people you could be watching that you want to, if you like this and you enjoy it, fantastic. Thank you so much. If you're new and you enjoy this sort of content, fantastic. Subscribe if you'd like. Thank you very much for watching Tea with Tom. There will be another one soon. If you have any questions or anything, hit me up in the comments. I'll be replying to them all night, and then I won't look again so I don't see soul-destroying ones that make me die a little bit inside. My cup of tea's cold. So yeah, thank you for watching Tea with Tom. I'll see you soon.